An important part of having integrity is embodying genuinely the values that you respect and admire in other people. I would say that rather than trying to disregard the opinions of other people, you go, how can I earn more self-respect? And self-respect comes from pride, and pride comes from being genuinely proud of yourself.
For those who struggle with seeking the approval of others, including those they admire, what strategies and/or advice do you have for learning how to not care what others think so much? Well, firstly, you should care about the approval of people who you admire. Not in a toxic way, but if you respect someone, it doesn't make any sense not to give a fuck what they think. So social awareness is important. I think this whole don't care about what other people think, that's a very quick way to not be a functioning member of society. There's a balance there, but I think it's not caring what people think who you don't know and don't have respect for, but also you want to be a good, diligent, polite human who displays values and ethics that you would admire in someone else. So there's a balance. An important part of having integrity is embodying genuinely the values that you respect and admire in other people. And you have to find a way to be a functional, positive member of a society that is degrading and falling apart. So you have to play the ball where it lands, but not be a part of the problem. That's not that easy, but that's the solution. In terms of, I think seeking external approval is excessively, to the point that it's counterproductive, is probably some kind of deep-rooted, psychological maladaptive coping mechanism for sure. But I don't think understanding that to the nth degree is going to solve it, because you can just recognize that, okay, that's where it's coming from. But the pragmatic approach to that is being like, well, how do I overcome that? And I think that in general, and again, I'm not a psychologist, but this is just what I've seen as a human with eyes, is that people who over-prioritize the validation and approval of people they don't know tend to have lower self-esteem because they have lower self-worth. And a lot of the time that lower self-worth is unfortunately earned because they spend 24/7 with them, and they know full well that they're not living up to their potential when they're not proud of themselves. So I think putting on a facade or filter for other people can make them feel better because at least other people don't know their shame. Or they can be someone else around other people. And that doesn't work. It's a inefficient use of energy because it's hollow and it's disingenuous, and putting up a facade is exhausting. Perpetuating a lie is tiring.
If you've just started TRT, it is completely normal to feel overwhelmed and confused. There's a lot of new territory to cover, and there is a lot of conflicting information. I wrote TRT 101 so that you can have everything that you need to know in an instruction manual in one place that you can refer back to, that you can have all the questions answered before they even come up. TRT 101 is my best practice approach for TRT from start to finish, and it contains everything that you need to avoid all the challenges and pitfalls that I've seen come up in my clients over the last 5 years. You can check it out by the link below.
And I think that's the way around it, is that you don't focus on the symptom, you focus on the cause. So I would say that rather than trying to disregard the opinions of other people, you go, how can I earn more self-respect? And self-respect comes from pride, and pride comes from being genuinely proud of yourself. And being proud of yourself can be someone who's overcoming something, who's 1% better than they were yesterday, who's edging outside their comfort zone, who is working on the shit that they know they need to work on, and keeping their word to themselves. And then if you do that, I think what's really valuable, and I was saying this to my wife the other day, is that your confidence in life radiates from whatever skill set and offering you have. So if you're a welder and you suck at welding, or if you're the best welder in town, the best welder in town version of you is going to be much more confident in all aspects of life that has nothing to do with welding, because you have internal proof of mastery of something. So you see yourself as someone who was successful. Yes, other people will also see that, but you know that it actually came from a core competency that you developed and practiced over time. So I think having that skill set, but also having all the stuff that you went through to get that skill set, are both equally important synergistically in ultimately at a root core level, not over prioritizing the surface-based opinions of people that you don't know. So get really good at something that ideally you get financially compensated for, but it can also be an artistic and creative hobby that you are able to derive a sense of self-worth from, and then you use the increased self-worth to fill the glass so that you're not relying on it to be filled by the external validation of other people. I think that's what you should.
The problem with mindfulness is that it's uncomfortably boring and we have to sit with our thoughts. I think mindfulness is very brave because you're sitting down and you're looking in the eye all the stuff that people usually numb and run away from. And that can be difficult and that can be uncomfortable. It's difficult to do meditation as a distraction because when you sit alone and, with your eyes closed and you remove all stimulus, your brain is going to start throwing at you all of the stuff that you're trying to distract yourself from, and you're going to have to sit with it.